Hello everyone. A long time ago, I don't have any video on YouTube or on post in YouTube. So today I make video talk about how to talk about your family. It's in a podcast in the 9 to 5 English business English business English part. We let's begin. Hi team. Here with another 9 to 5 English lesson. In today's lesson, we are going to have a look at how to talk about your family. In business and in life, everything is about relationships, and to build relationships, we often talk about our background and our personal life. Of course, you can't get too personal, but family is a topic that everyone loves to discuss. For most people, family is the reason they work so hard in the first place. And believe me, if you ask someone how about their family, they feel good. Better yet, if you remember what they told you about their family, they feel great. And if you show interest in some family, they will probably show interest in yours. So, how can you answer questions about your families? Well, children are always an interesting subject. If you've got a kids, you surely understand. So, you can simply say how many children you have. You don't have to give too much detail, but you could mention whether they are boys or girls, and how are they? Or you might just say 2 young children or a teenager son. Now, if you don't have children, you might just mention your spouse, which means your husband or wife, or you might want to keep it really general. I mean, you could say something like, I come from a big family, and you might add something about where you're from, where you live. In this way, you'll give people an idea of who you are. How about it with a practice talking about your family in these ways? We're going to give you some examples. After you heard each example, try repeat it yourself. Ready? Let's give it a go. My wife and I have 2 boys, aged 16 and 18. I've got a big family back in Edinburgh. Okay, so when people ask, sorry, we got 2 children and third one on the way. Okay, so when people ask an open-ended question about your family, they're probably wondering about your immediate family. That means your husband or wife and your kid. People don't want to know about your distant cousins. But people might ask about your parents and your family background. What exactly do you think people might want to know? Well, your parents just may be interesting. So you could say something like, my father is doctor and my mother is teacher. If that sounds a bit boring, then how about mentioning about special accomplishment like my mother invented a new type of car tire. Okay, maybe your mother didn't invent a tire, but it's just an example interesting family history. And beside a special accomplishment, sometimes in your family history, a particular job is common through different generations. In that case, you can say you come from a long line of engineers, for example, a long line of salespeople, or whatever job it is that run in your family. Now, what if the family has a business? Well, you can tell people what type of business, and you could even mention how long your family has run that business. This kind of detail about family, especially the job or business, are interesting to people, and they might also make you look good. I mean, if your family has been successful in business, people will naturally think that you were a talent too. Now it's your turn to try using this expression just like before. You will hear some example. After each example, you can repeat what you hear. Let's begin. My dad is an engineer, and my mom is in education. My father worked at the first VW plant in Mexico. So, did you hear how that worked? There was some interesting detail in those examples. Right, and notice that we say run a business, which means to operate a business. Now that we practice some of these expressions, let's hear how they sound in an actual conversation. We go to listen to Anna ask John about his family, and John is going to talk about his children and his family in the US. So, is this just you and your wife here in Paris? No, we got our son and daughter with us. Oh, that must be nice, but I'm imagine you miss your family back home. I sure do. I've got a pretty big family back in the States. How do that sound? John mentioned on his son and daughter and his big family back state. We can use that expression back in to talk about the place we originally come from. Originally come from. Now it's your turn to practice. We'll repeat the dialogue, but this time we're going to beep our own words. You will have to say those parts yourself. Remember, first you mention your kid and you say that you have a big family in the US. Here we go. So, is this just you and your wife here in Paris? Now we got our son and daughter with us. Oh, that must be nice, but I imagine you missed your family back home. I sure do. I've got a pretty big family back in the States. Okay, so that's all for this lesson. We had to look at both talking about your immediately family and talking about your parents or family background. This is all we have this podcast. I read not clearly, because I may it's good. If you see something you can discuss to make motivation for me. Thank you. Goodbye.